Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Stepping Up to the Plate. I'm your host, Michael Vega. So glad you could be joining us as now the seasons are turning to fall. The sports calendar is turning its pages. We have the Fall Classic set with the World Series combatants having been established. The Arizona Diamondbacks beating the Philadelphia Phillies in Game 7 by the score of 4-2. And, of course, the Texas Rangers demolition of the Houston Astros. And so it'll be the Rangers and the Diamondbacks. Who would have thunk that? Unbelievable. And what do you know? Patriots won. Patriots won. I'll say it again. The Patriots won. Unbelievable job by the Patriots last Sunday against the Buffalo Bills. Now comes another crucible, a test against the Miami Dolphins and their high-octane offense. And we'll discuss that and more here. And, of course, the Bruins off to a 6-0 start. Unbelievable. Great job by Jim Montgomery and the collection of players. Some exciting young players that we'll probably see hanging around for quite some time. Matt Patras, talking about him, obviously. And in the local scene, a setback for our Milton High football team. Unfortunately, went down to Taunton, faced a tough Hockomock League squad, and Coach Steve Demboski and his team took a second loss in a row. They dropped to 5-2 on the season. They drop out of the Globe Top 20 poll, and then of course they dropped out of the number 1 seed to number 2, which is not entirely bad proposition, but it's the home field that they were always looking for in the playoffs, and now they're going to have some work to do in order to get it back. But if they can get a first-round bye, that's going to be huge. But so glad to be joined here on the dais by my main man, Al Prizzuti. And Al, right off the top, let's talk about the Bruins. 6-0, off to a fantastic start.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm excited about Matt Patras. I really am. Every time he's around the puck, he makes things happen. He's burying the puck in the net. He's setting up his teammates. I think you could move him up and down the lines and he would energize that line. And now, because he's on a 2-way contract, he's on track to remain with the roster for the rest of the season.
Well, he has to, because he'd have to go to Guelph, and because he can't play in the AHL because he's too young.
Right. Isn't that funny? You can't play in the AHL, but you're 18 and you can play in the NHL in a big show.
What's interesting about, and you can't get too excited about the 6-0 start, although 6-0, you have to win the games against teams like they've beaten Chicago twice, which is, I think they should beat. Every team that they've played, they should beat.
Right.
If you take a look at poor Chicago, they played the Bruins twice. They've played all the muscle. They've played, unfortunately, they're off to a slow start, which everybody thought. But with the Bruins, you've got a couple of things I think that stand out. Patras is an interesting player because he's not just he broke in and went right by that guy. One, I noticed that he held the guy's stick a little. They didn't call it, but then he went. He kind of deked a little and went over on the right side of the goalie. That was a terrific goal.
Yeah.
And I think what he does, he's got a nose for the puck.
He does.
And I think that's one of the things that you got to really like about him.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's always around the puck. He's on the puck. He's moving the puck.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that creates excitement, energizes a line, and you know what? Creates opportunities for goal scorers.
Yeah.
And he's a goal scorer himself, so he's not going to be shy about putting the puck in the net.
So I think the interesting thing with the Bruins is that their power play has not produced at all. That's even as bad as it was last year toward the end. But their defense has been stellar. They've let in 7 goals in 6 games. You can't get much better than that.
Right.
And Swayman and Ullman have both been what they were last year.
Yeah.
So I think, they come back here Thursday night. They play
the Kings?
No. Anyways, they play
the Ducks. I think it's the Ducks.
No, Anaheim.
Yeah.
They play Anaheim, another team that they should beat,
right?
Which would make them 7-0. And then they start to hit some of the muscle. They got to play Detroit, which is on fire.
Yeah.
They play Detroit twice in the next 5 games, I believe. They play,
Which is good. Okay.
They play Toronto.
Let's find out
I
about
think
this
they play Montreal, Toronto, all these teams that could end up, might end up in front of them if they don't.
Or they could be jockeying for positions
with them. So I think I'm one of these people that, when you see teams winning like they have 6-0, I judge the talent that they're playing, and it's kind of like a pitcher coming from the minor leagues to the major leagues. When you're up against the big guys, it's different than when you're down in the minors. And kind of the Bruins are playing, I would say, the lower half of the league so far.
Well, you know what? That's good.
But you got to win those games.
You got to win them, and they're winning them. And you know what, Al? What I really like in particular is the goaltending that this team is getting once again from Linus Ullmark and Jeremy Swayman. There were points, I think, it might have been in L.A. when the Bruins kept picking up penalties.
Yeah.
And I think Swayman was in net at that point, and he was keeping them in net. He was keeping them in.
We only had 20.
Game.
Well, see, last night's a little different story because Swayman made a couple of nice saves, but 23 shots. I mean.
Yeah.
That's the defense.
Right.
So the defense is making the goaltenders look even better than what they are, which is what they are. They've got as good a defense as anybody in the league with Lindholm and McAvoy and now Shattenkirk, Forbert. Yeah. Forbert's a different type of guy, though. He's a stay-back kind of guy. He's not a Brandon Carlo played a terrific game last night. Yeah. I think there's a couple of guys in the Bruins, though, that you got to watch. This kid Beach is a player.
Yes.
He's fast.
Another guy.
And he's big.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, Van Riemsdyk was a steal. Yeah. He's got 300 and something goals in his career, but he goes to the net. He set up Frederick's goal last night. That was him.
He's always there, man.
Oh, yeah.
I love him. I love Pavel Zacha.
Well, Pavel Zacha, on Shattenkirk's goal, I thought that was Shattenkirk's goal, and then I watched it and watched it and watched it. He just barely got that stick on it. But it did come up, and that was the key.
I think Shattenkirk kind of sauced it a little bit.
Yeah, it was.
And then when Pavel Zacha put the stick on it, it elevated.
That's what they say, is get in front of the net and let the guy shoot. And it doesn't have to be a blazer. It has to be that you can get your stick on it. And Zacha did a nice job. Now, Zacha, first goal. Who didn't have a great game at the start was Coyle.
Correct.
He made a couple of mistakes.
One that got erased, and he was lucky because he made a huge error. He turned the puck over in their offensive zone, and then wound up turning into a goal by Connor Bedard that would have given the Blackhawks a 1-0 lead. But Jim Montgomery and his crew decided to challenge, and on the basis of an offside, and sure enough, the goal was disallowed. It was an offside penalty.
Well, it's kind of interesting in a way.
And you saw the reaction of Charlie Coyle on the bench.
He was like,
thrilled. Woo,
But I think what was interesting, I was reading this morning an article, and it said, a game that featured the potential Rookie of the Year. Oh, I'm sorry, not Bedard, but Poitras. Of course, it was written by a Bruin guy, but but it's interesting. He's got 3 goals already.
Yeah.
He scored 2 the other night.
He's got a 3-1-4 line right now.
Yeah, Pasta is Pasta. I mean, and Marchand is Marchand. Those are 2 solid. Both of them solid. Pasta's not as solid as Marchand is all over.
Right.
Marchand he can aggravate people. He goes deep. He twists. He turns.
Yeah. My only concern about Poitras is just his health. I want to make sure he's. They're going to have to manage him a little bit because invariably he's going to hit that wall. Maybe January, February, March.
Yeah, the problem is that he's under the radar. See, it's not like Bedard. Everybody wants to go at Bedard, watch him, stick with him, because he's supposedly the next superstar.
Yeah.
Poitras, nobody even knows, really, other than the coach at Guelph, where he played. But so he's going to be under the radar, and what's going to happen is if he continues to score, then all of a sudden people are going to start going to him. So the second half of the campaign, so to speak, like say around January, if this kid's got 15 or so goals by then, he's a player. They're gonna have to watch him.
I'll tell you what, the Garden could be rocking again this year because the other occupants, the tenants of the building, the Boston Celtics, are looking pretty good, Al. From the preseason games that I've seen, I've liked what they've done, how they've turned the roster over and fortified certain areas. I think they've really, their first 12 guys, are going to help.
Well, their problem is going to be health. I mean, if the big guy stays healthy, because he's had a history of not playing that many games.
Yeah, but they're going to. I don't think he's going to have to play in those dirty areas in and around the basket as much. Yeah, because he can step out and hit baskets, but he can go by you. But the thing that he does too, he's a great rim protector.
Yeah, well, that's
he's a great rim protector.
He's a big guy, and they need him.
And invariably, someone's going to step on his ankles. Something like that's going to happen. You almost expect that to happen. It's going to happen to everybody. Unfortunately, it happened to Jason Tatum at the worst time last year in Game 7 against the Heat, and that kind of turned things around for the Heat. That was a game-changing moment. But it's interesting how the entire team now, it seems like they're resolved to get back, to run it back to the finals, to get back there. And now I think they're sufficiently armored for that run.
Yeah, I don't think they're pushing. I think they're the best team in the league.
Well, they're not alone in that sentiment.
No, everybody thinks that they're the team to beat.
Well, I'll tell you what. When the Bucks got Damian Lillard, they immediately became the team to beat. Yeah. But when the Celtics swung, and you got to give credit to Brad Stevens for doing this, when it appeared that Drew Holiday was going to be there, he swung for the fences and made that deal happen. Wow. And that was almost like Red Auerbach or Danny Ainge, making these deals. And
if you're sitting back in his position, he's going to say, we better do it this year.
Right.
This is the year. Because you came close last year, you were close 2 years ago. We need to put some other players in.
And you know what? It puts pressure on the team. It puts pressure on the organization. But Brad Stevens is like, hey, you know what? I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
They've added a couple. Van Gundy is a good addition to this team. He knows
Drew Holiday is a great addition.
Well, I mean as a player, I'm talking about Van Gundy is going to be watching.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good, smart.
Well,
move.
Not only him, but they have Sam Cassell there on the bench.
Cassell.
These are all veteran NBA guys, And it seemed like last year with what had happened, it was a tough thing for the Celtics. You start the season with your team in turmoil because the coach, in the midst of the controversy, they have to go to an interim guy, and the players seem to have to navigate themselves through games because they were trying to help this guy with on-the-job training. So Coach Mazzulla now, I think he gets it, he understands it. He's and what I liked, Al, about how he approached the preseason. He felt like, I got a lot of new guys on this team. I need to see them play together.
Yeah.
I need to see them play together for extended minutes. And so, like the last 2 preseason games, we saw this team. And that's the thing that got me really excited was like, didn't matter if like the Knicks started their scrubs. Yeah. The Celtics did what they needed to do against those guys.
I think what I like about what Mazzulla did and you got to look at this and say he put his ego aside because he is the head coach.
Right.
When he brings in a guy like Cassell, and I don't know if it's him or
I think it's upper management, yeah.
Upper management, but still, he said, you having a guy like Cassell that I can bounce things off of, and Van Gundy that I can bounce things off of, indicates to me that he doesn't think he knows everything.
Right.
And he's willing to listen, and that's a good thing about a guy like him. I think the biggest problem they're going to have is, who gets the ball when they need it? Is it going to be Tatum? Is it going to be Brown? Is it going to be Holiday? There's the big guy can shoot.
I think the matchups are going to dictate that, but I think the offense is going to have to go through Tatum. Yeah. It will have to go through him, and tonight as we tape this, the Celtics will open the season at New York against the Knicks, and so they'll get the full measure of the Knicks tonight, as opposed to the preseason game when they saw their scrubs and guys who probably aren't on the roster anymore. But the thing is that I am excited about this team. They're talking about this being a banner year, as in banner number 18. And you know what? With the acquisitions they made, bringing in Holiday, bringing in, Porzingis, keeping Al, keeping Derek White, keeping the guys keeping Peyton Pritchard.
Oh,
So happy for that guy.
Peyton Pritchard's going to play a bigger role than he played last year.
Oh, well, he will.
And
yeah.
I think the good thing, and I know this I think Horford being the sixth man, if you will,
he might be
is a
the
good
seventh.
thing.
He might be the seventh.
Might the seventh man. But I'm saying sixth man, meaning he's not the starting guy anymore.
But that's okay.
No, I think that's
That's
good.
okay.
That's
and
a
you know,
good
I think he
thing.
embraces that role.
36,
I think,
37
yeah, I
years
think
old.
he'll embrace that role because he realizes that'll keep him fresher for longer and later into the season. And you know, we all know what Al can do. We all appreciate what Al can do. You know, and I'm not talking about you, but I appreciate you, Al.
I think what's going to happen, though, I think the expectation here, okay, is very high.
Yeah.
And the real problem is going to be if they come out a little flat in the first few games, then you're going to get the
No.
horde.
It'll be such a short sample, but Al, I'm not going to be worried about that at all.
Well,
as long as I see the effort, and here's the thing, I see this team that's connected. They're connected.
Well,
you know.
see. We'll see.
And,
see, yeah, look at it. It's just like the Bruins, 6-0 against bad teams. I can't get overly excited about it, except for the fact that you got to win the games you got to win, which they did.
And you know, and they went on the road to win, 4 of those games.
Yeah. Well,
so
they always
I mean,
seem
that's
to win on the road out west.
well, yeah, that's another. I mean,
west.
there's a lot of distractions, as Jake DeBrusk will tell you.
Well, that's an interesting thing with Jake DeBrusk, though, because he doesn't show up, and he overslept supposedly. Somebody said, Montgomery said, well, the alarm didn't go off. And that's a rule that if you're late, you don't play.
Right.
And so, and he took it. I mean, let me put it this way. He appears to have taken it very well. You don't know. He come out and he plays hard. But he always plays hard.
He has to be accountable. I think
he's a player.
Yeah.
But, probably second to the Patriots.
Yes. The Patriots win.
You know what, though?
Does this change anything for you, Al?
No. I'll tell you one thing about the kid, Jones.
Al and I are texting each other during the game. We're both down on him at one point.
Third down or fourth down, and they need to get a yard or two. Would you want Allen or Jones behind the center?
Here's what I want.
Allen gets it.
I want Allen. No. I want Jones to hand it off to Ezekiel Elliott
or
Ramondre Steve, or throw it to Pop Douglas.
He can do all that stuff. What I'm saying is, though, he should never be the guy who tries to get the first down, third and one.
No.
Because he's not strong enough.
Correct. No lower bodies.
God almighty.
Give me Jalen Hurts.
And then
the Eagles have made that into a science, man. It's unbelievable.
He made the mistake of doing that stupid dance after the end of the game. I mean, he's taking more heat on that. I mean, it looks stupid.
Oh, well, you know what? He's allowed. I mean, the win, it was a big one. And here's the thing, Al.
The Hunter Henry pass was the big one now.
Yeah.
I mean, that got them down there, and they needed that. Was a third down. I mean,
he's a player.
You got to use him more.
You know, what I liked, Al, was the scheme and how they put the ball into their playmakers' hands on the perimeter going downhill. From the first play scrimmage, you saw them do that when he steps back, he's under center, he throws it to Demario Douglas on, it looks like a jet sweep, but it's kind of like the wheel route, and he gets it, and he goes. And I'm sitting there going, brilliant.
They got to use him more.
And Al, what was the first play from scrimmage on that decisive drive that they get the winning touchdown on? It was exactly the same play, but this time it was to Ramondre Stevenson on the other side.
But they got to do that more and more because those two guys, both of them, are decent players. They know how to play the game.
Yes.
And I saw Ramondre when he's got a head of steam.
Boy, tough to bring down.
He is tough to bring down. He's 250
Ezekiel
pounds.
Elliott, same thing.
Same thing with, I mean, so, and then they got to be using the tight ends better. They used them this time, okay? But that play to Hunter Henry, I mean, the kid's a player.
And Al, we would be remiss not to recognize these guys as the offensive line. They were much maligned in the first 5 games of the season here, and turnstiles at right and left tackle, it seemed like, and the kid was getting killed.
One of the
he was getting killed.
I'll tell you one of the things though that's troubling about this team, and they didn't have it as bad, although they did have some penalties. They're the worst tackling team I've seen. That play that put them ahead,
Yes.
Buffalo.
Bad tackle.
Real bad tackle.
Yeah.
And then there was another play.
It's like they're playing flag football.
Yeah.
You know, you cannot
They
do that.
miss tackles
You gotta
big
get-
time.
you
They
gotta
don't
get
want to
that.
hit.
You got to get that. Well, here's the thing, Al. You know, the league rules are such now that if you hit a guy in a certain way, you could either get your team penalized, you're going to get a fine. You know, it puts these guys on their heels.
Yeah.
And it's like you got to make a rugby tackle. You know,
like they said, look, this isn't flag football.
No.
I think Brady
No.
said, they're turning it into flag football.
Football, that's exactly
And that's
what-
bad.
Right.
But let me put it this way. A guy's coming at you, and they had one play where the guy deked out at Jackson, I think it was.
Yes.
Deked him out
Ooh,
completely
yeah,
and
yeah.
went around for another 5 or 6 yards.
Yeah.
That's a model. I mean, if they're showing that tape on Monday, Belichick is saying, you got to get that guy.
You cannot let him do that to you, right?
And then the play where they went ahead, Buffalo.
J.C. Jackson, the guy stepped out of J.C. Jackson's tackle.
Twice
And went right
in a
in.
row.
Yeah,
So,
unbelievable.
I mean, that stuff's going to hurt you. I don't think this team, they could beat Miami.
Well, yeah, Al, they could, but Al, I got to tell you something. Two conspiracy theories I'm going to float here. I thought, when I saw the play of the offensive line, I thought to myself, they may have been inspired by someone or something. And that might have been the presence of Dante Scarnecchia in Kraft's owner's box, after he was inducted into the Patriots Hall of Fame. And all of his, former players turned out to pay homage to him and to obviously genuflect to him. He's one of the greatest offensive line coaches, not just in Patriots history, but I think in NFL history. And stuff that he's done. And so they probably said, hey, man, we need to show out because this guy's in the stands watching us. So I thought, they've probably been inspired. And the other thing I thought about it, seeing Vrabel in the coach's box there, and this was before the news about, Belichick's contract, which we'll discuss in a second. As I was watching Mike Vrabel give his induction speech, I couldn't help but think, there goes the next coach of the New England Patriots. There goes the guy. And then I thought, and here's my conspiracy theory. I thought, wow. You know what? You have him here. He's a captive audience. What would preclude, Bob Kraft and Bill Belichick from meeting with him and laying out the parameters of their succession for Bill Belichick here?
Yeah, that's not going to happen, though.
Well, I mean, you can.
It's not gonna happen
this is a
because-
conspiracy theory.
Yeah. No,
So
you know
I
what?
mean, it's like, why not have that meeting and say to Mike Vrabel, Mike, take your time in Tennessee, but just know this: you're going to be our next head coach. We've said that to Gerard Mayo, but we can turn to Mayo and say, look, we'll make you the defensive coordinator because he's going to
Mayo
be
will
the
get
head
it.
coach. He brings more
Mayo will
experience.
get it before.
But
If he
Vrabel
does.
comes with more experience.
Yeah, but Brave, don't forget, he's there. You say he's got more experience. Yeah, he's there. He's head coach. He's been a head coach. The other guy.
But you don't think he would
deserves it.
come back
No,
to New England?
no,
Is he too close a tie to Bill Belichick? Because you know what? No, I mean, he was kind of at loggers with Belichick.
He was, but I think if Kraft is involved in it at all, it's Mayo. And because I'll tell you one thing about Kraft, he's more involved than you think he is.
Oh, yeah,
You
no
know,
doubt.
I mean,
No
people.
doubt.
I had a friend, unnamed incidentally, who used to do some of the testing, drug testing, and he said that Bill was not the easiest guy in the world to
deal with
get
on that.
friendly with.
Yeah.
I mean, friendly meaning hi, how are you, blah, blah, blah. He'd walk by you sometimes, wouldn't say a
Well,
word.
he's
And I think
single-minded.
He's
Yeah.
71. If he signed a multi-year contract, he makes $20 million a year.
So that conspiracy theory was blown up with the news that evidently Bill Belichick had signed a multi-year contract. Now, here's the other conspiracy theory that kind of spins off of that. How did this get out there? Why did this get out there?
Yeah, well,
and is Belichick kind of forcing Kraft's hand? Because
think
evidently he was at the end of a contract year.
I know.
And they had to get re-upped. And this is not an extension. This is a whole new contract.
I know, but he's 71 years old. I mean, first of all, I think it was a mistake to do it.
Well, yeah.
But, I mean, forget that. If you look at O'Brien,
Yeah.
O'Brien, if you go and say to Vrabel, here's the plan of going forward in 2 or 3 years, you'll be the head coach. O'Brien goes, well, see you later.
I'll go be the head coach of the Tennessee Titans.
I'll go someplace else again.
The Tennessee Titans will be looking for a coach.
Especially if he can turn this offense around a little.
And that's the thing, Al, that excited me about the start of the season was that we saw a schematic structure to their offense. You saw something there.
You don't have an executor.
And then you saw the decimation of the offensive line, which kind of imploded that.
You don't have an executor. And look, I acknowledge that the offensive line is not good. They're not giving. They weren't giving this kid enough time.
That's all he needs.
They don't have the best receivers in the thing. All of that I give.
Yeah.
Okay, he is not an executor.
And I will give you that, and I'll point to this as an example. They're down on the goal line and needing that touchdown. He had Demario Douglas flash open, wide open.
Right.
And it required a certain type of throw. It required a hard Elway cross type of throw that had to be delivered hot and on target.
Right.
And he threw it over the kid's head.
Oh, yeah. And that's what he does.
And then he was lucky Gesicki was there to make that toss because he kind of put some air on it and floated it.
On that play, he threw the ball, at least he threw it on the inside.
Correct.
In other words, the guy behind him would have had a...
He eliminated that by where he put it. But again, Al, it's got to be hot. Yeah, it's got to be thrown hard. He threw a couple of
passes that wobbled.
Yes.
There wasn't even anybody on him. I mean, he needs a lot of. I know. I heard O'Brien say, "Look, he's only in his 3rd year."
Yeah, but and the other thing too is that I think he's nicked up from all the contact he's taken. I think he may be a little bit nicked up.
I think he's.
But you know what? This helps him. This helps him build confidence. It's the same thing that happened with the Jets with Zach Wilson, how he turned it around.
I think if they lose to Miami, if they continue to lose like they've been and win occasionally,
right.
By the 10th game, you'll see Malik, the quarterback.
Well, they released him.
Nah, they'll bring him back. I mean,
he's been released along with Trey Flowers.
Yeah.
He may come back to the practice squad.
Yeah.
But I don't know that they'll add him to
30-something seconds. I wanted the Phillies to win.
Oh.
And they lost.
Oh, Al.
But to have Arizona...
I know why you wanted the Phillies to win.
What?
Kyle Schwarber.
Well, Schwarber got up, walked. I thought, guy was careful of him. Then who gets out...
Well, when he gets called on a check swing and then almost struck out on a check swing.
I didn't think that was a swing. But anyways, I want Texas to win, and I want Eovaldi to be the winner.
Oh, nice. Good call. All righty. Well, we want to thank you, and we want to invite everyone to get out to Brooks Field for senior night this week against Natick. Milton High football team will be looking to get back on the winning track here this weekend on Friday night, 7 o'clock at Brooks Field. Be out there, be proud, be loud. All righty, everybody, that'll do it for us. Take care. We'll see you next time here on Stepping Up to the Plate. Take care.